course. God, of course. We're a God family business. We got 2 of the 3 already in the God family business, don't we? That worked out perfect. Somebody else, give me one more. Sure, ma'am. Gardening, I love that. Travel. Let me ask you a question. And I've done this all over the country, and I rarely hear this one. Nobody ever puts themselves. Nobody ever puts me. 2 letters that are huge. M-E. Nobody ever puts me. I love me. And here's what I want to share with you today before we get into the business side of this is you have to love you first to be at your full potential for all those things you wrote down on that piece of paper. You have to love you first so you can love your family in the way that you should. You have to love you first so you can honor God the way Tanya put down that one of her loves was God. Or the puppy dogs or the milkshakes or whatever it is, you have to make sure that you are in alignment with loving yourself before you operate with other people in that love capacity. And I think it's really real to understand that in your roles in your world, and the least of it being a realtor, being a mom, a dad, a brother, a sister, a sibling, a child, an aunt, an uncle, a friend, a collaborator, and a colleague, all of the roles that you play in your world, I would assume that you want to operate at your highest potential. Am I correct? I'm just going to assume that. You don't want to be mediocre, right? You want to be extraordinary, at least in those roles. And so my question is, not my question, my comment is to be, once again, operating at your maximum potential in those roles that you really cherish because they're on your sheet. You have to love you first. My idea is, I think being mediocre and extraordinary are completely opposite things, right? How easy is it to be mediocre? A lot of people say, oh, all you got to do sometimes to be mediocre is to show up, right? Let me tell you something. You don't even have to show up to be mediocre. But to be extraordinary, it takes effort, it takes thought, and it takes intention. And so I'm going to challenge you today to have that thought and that intention and that growth mindset on loving you so you can love the other things in your life that are obviously monumentally important. So, okay. Everybody okay now? I want to get that off my chest. I'm going to tell you a joke. Most operators, operating principals, and team leaders, when I come in and say I'm going to sell a joke, I was in Naples, Florida. I've got some friends down there that run the market center down there, and they'd never heard me speak before, and I started that out. I said, okay, I'm going to tell everybody a joke, and I looked over, and the guy's name's Jordan. He's their MCA and kind of runs their office, and he was like, I could tell he was nervous because in adult learning, any kind of adult learning classes you go to learn how to teach adults is you never tell jokes because you're always going to offend somebody. Well, I'm not going to offend anybody, but I'm going to tell you this joke. So Rob, sit still, put your seatbelt on. Here we go. So this realtor calls this house, and this little boy answers the phone, and he's whispering, and he goes, hello? And he goes, well, hey, little guy, can I talk to your mom? And he goes, no, she's busy. He's like, all right, well, can I talk to your dad? He goes, no, he's busy too. He's like, well, what are they doing? He said, they're talking to the policeman. He said, they're talking to the policeman. What's the policeman doing? He said, talking to the fireman. He said, talking to the what's going on over there? What are they doing? He said, looking for me. How many of you have had clients that have kids like that? Yes, we all have, right? You keep toys in the back seat just in case you can't shut them up. So yeah, absolutely. Okay, I always look because I'm prone to putting a Sharpie on a dry erase board. All right, good. You knew I was coming. All right, so let me talk to you about this. What's your average price in this area? Roughly. 350? All right. I'm going to say 350. We're going to think positive numbers. So 350 is your average price, let's say. Can everybody see that okay? Let me get a different one. 350 is your average price. Remember what I told you just a minute ago? I'm going to teach you a process that you can have how many transactions if you're half good at it? 30. So, okay, I'm going to say this too. We are in a training scenario, correct? So I want to talk about the Sherman Antitrust Act, and you got to be careful when you talk about commissions and all that kind of stuff. In the in training situations, you can talk numbers, okay? We are not by any way trying to price fix, do anything else. This is numbers you're giving me as an example only, okay? So let's say that you're going to get 3%. That's not going to work. Yeah. There we go. That'll work. I just didn't want to use Coldwell Banker Blue, but it's okay. So what I want everybody, nobody ever gets their phones out during trainings, right? I want you to get your phone out because you're not going to be able to do it in your head. We're realtors. We don't like math. So $350,000 times 3% is what for the GCI? Say again? 10,500. Okay. Now, how many transactions did I tell you could get? 30. So somebody give me 10,500 times 30. Say again? 315,000. And that is GCI. We all know what GCI is, right? Gross commission income. Now, what's the cap? What's the cap here? 12 plus your 3, right? You got 3,000 for Keller Williams International. So 12 and 3 is 15. Well, this just works out perfect, doesn't it? So here's your cap requirement. Yeah, it may be hard. So here's what I'm getting. So here's what I'm looking at. On this, average price, $350,000. On 3% as an example, that's $10,500. $315,000 GCI, I'm sorry, 10,000. That's right. So times 30, that pen does not work, is 315,000 minus your cap, your royalty and your cap. Your market center cap is 15 total, $300,000. Do you realize that that is your adjusted gross commission income? Oh, you brought me a red one. Yeah, thank you. Oh, look at the smoothness of that red. See, blue is a wrong color. 300. So I'm showing you right now, I'm going to give you the whole conversation, which we used to call scripts. I'm going to walk you through this process. And so what I'm asking you is this: $300,000. What do you do with that if you get that this year? If I can help you infuse $300,000 cash money into your world, what do you do with it? How does it change your world right now?
25% goes to taxes.
Okay. True. What'd you say, Tiffany? Buy a home. That's significant, isn't it?
Investment property.
Investment property. Savings. Retirement. Anybody going to Disneyland? Disney World? Remember those commercials? I'm going to Disney World. $300,000. That's a lot of money. Let me put it to you this way. I'm going to change your mindset. That is $50,000 more than $250,000. That's a lot of money. I don't care if you've got $10 million, $20 million, $100 million, $28.28 in your account. That's a lot of money. I'm going to show you how to do it, but I'm going to first go through this. Remember I told you it was very minimal prospecting requirement? This is an annualized prospecting plan. Your yearly prospecting plan is this: 24 emails, 246 calls, and 50 face-to-face visits. I got my back to you, Rob. Sorry. Now, let's get into this. Let's break this down. 24 emails. And I don't mean the 24 emails to 400 people in your command database. I'm talking about 24 emails. 246 phone calls roughly averages out to one phone call a day on a 5-day work week. Now, I'm going to assume, and when I say assume, that means I'm really going to assume, because if all of you do this, all of you are the outliers and the unicorns. So on your daily prospecting, when you're making 20 to 30 calls a day, that's why I said what I said. If you're on your daily prospecting of 25 to 30 calls a day, I'm going to ask you to make one more phone call a day. If you're not making phone calls, I'm going to ask you to make one phone call a day. I'm just going to say this. This is going to be gruff and grumpy. Are you ready? Everybody tough as nails in here? Can you take it? If you can't make a phone call a day, you're in the wrong business. Hate to tell you. You probably need to go back to the 9 to 5. Because I'm asking for one phone call a day. I'm not even talking about he's probably trying to get you to do 10 phone calls a day on Breakthrough 120 or all these different lead gen things and all that. We are in the lead gen model, by the way. We all know the models for Keller Williams, right? Elbow. We know elbow, right? The economic model, the lead gen model. Help me out. The B is the budget model, and the O is the organizational model. We are working within the lead gen model. By making phone calls, you can figure out how many people you have to contact to get an appointment, how many appointments you have to go on to get in. Okay? 50 face-to-face visits a year. And that's 50, not 50 with 100 people. This is 50 face-to-face visits. And these are going to be people you see a dozen times a year anyway, and only one time you have a conversation about real estate. So let's break it down. Here's what I will say. If you want to record me on this conversation, you can do that. Well, let me back up. Let me do this. So I'm not an artist, but I'm going to give you this big bullseye. Okay? This thing's dying too. It must be the glass, something. Can everybody halfway see that? So let me just do this real quick. And I'll tell you what it is here in a second. So right here is the bullseye. That's your core. There are 2 to 5 people in your core. This is something I've been doing for years and years. You're not going to find this anywhere else. It's just me and my brain. 2 to 5 people in your core. And what I mean by that is there are 2 to 5 people in your world right now. If you're lucky, you have 5. You're lucky you have 2. But these people are actively out looking for business for you. My mom was one of those people for me. My mom would go to yard sales on Friday, not because she needed anything, but my mom loved to negotiate. There was nothing she needed at that yard sale, but she was going to get something, and she was going to, if it was $1, she was going to give 50 cents, and she won, and she walked away and felt good about it. But my mom would walk up and she would say, "Oh my goodness, you're having a yard sale. Are you getting ready to sell your house? Because if you are, my son is the best real estate agent in Bowling Green. And oh, here's his card." You have very few people in your world that are doing that for you. Not because they don't want to, but they have lives that they're living too, right? They've got things that are important to them. So those are your core people. The next one is your 50, and that's what we're going to talk about here in just a minute. That's what this is all based on. The next one is your family and friends. The next one is acquaintances. We're all old enough to understand you have way more of acquaintances than you do family and friends, right? Right? Okay. And then out of your acquaintances, this is everybody else in the world. And this is not a static number. You do realize, this is a sidebar, you do realize that your database, the average, you lose 10 to 15 to almost 20% of your database every year. So if you wait too long, you've got nobody left. You have to constantly be adding to your database. And it's not because people don't like you anymore. That may be part of it. But it may be because they move away, they change their name, they pass away, they get married, they change their phone number, they get their real estate absolutely, they get their real estate license. How many has had a buyer start go, well, I want to do that? Well, yeah, you should do that. I got a K-score thing for you. So, but you have everybody else in the world, and you're constantly trying to move them into your acquaintance ring. Your acquaintance ring, you're trying to move into your family and friends ring. Family and friends into your 50, and your 50 into your core. And the way you do that, this is just having conversations in the Kroger checkout or at Sam's or Costco or Walmart or wherever. This is knowing who your acquaintances are that came to an open house, or they worked with your cousin's son's best friend's brother at whatever. They worked together. Family and friends, you can figure out who your family and friends are. Now I'm going to tell you about your 50, and that's where we're going to stay the rest of the time. The way I explain this is a little crass, but that's just kind of who I am. I'm from Champaign, Illinois, police officer there before I got into real estate. So I got a couple strikes against me. I'm an ex-cop and I'm a Yankee, so I always had an attitude. So I've just tamed it and toned it down. So here's what I'm going to tell you. Your 50 people, I want you to think of this. It's the closest 50 people in your world. And I mean, like, here's how I'll explain it. You probably got 10 to 20 that if you called and said, hey, I need your help, they're already walking to the garage to get the lantern and the shovel because they're going to help everybody. You know, you got some people like that. They're just going to go. They're just going to do it, whatever. Then you've got probably 20 to 30 that'll say, I'm not going to dig, but I'll hold the lantern. And then you've got 30 to 40 that are like, don't even tell me what you're doing. I'm not going to tell anybody, but still I don't want to know nothing. And then 40 to 50, like, don't say anything. I'll get drunk and tell somebody. But still, these 50 people love you. They only want good for you. And they're the ones that you would call if you did have the flat tire and you needed help. Now, I've had some people say, oh, I don't even have 50 people like that. Well, then fine, do your 20, do 25, do 30. Your numbers just change. I'm going off these numbers of $300,000 for you guys, okay? Here's the conversation. Let me back up. What you need to do is you put them into command, and you tag them as your 50, whatever, or you put them in a notebook. I don't care how you do it. Put them somewhere where you know how to contact them. You need them in command because you're going to need to email them 12 times a year. That's one of your 24. There's another group, the 12 part of this, 12 and 50. I didn't even say it was 12 and 50. It's called the 12 and 50. We're on the 50 right now. So 12 of these emails, once a month, you're going to do an update email for them. And it doesn't have to be business related. We just got back from Disney World. Just wanted to give you an update on what's going on, blah, 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 blah. Or you could do a business update, a market update, whatever. It doesn't matter what the body of the email says. And I'll get into the rest of it in just a minute. So now, if you want to record this conversation, you're more than welcome to record this, so you'll know it and you'll have it. Are you recording this? Recording it, and it's on our YouTube channel. There you go. You don't even have to record it. Rob's got that taken care of for you. So here's what you're going to do. I'm calling my cousin, let's say. I don't have to say, hey, Josh, this is your cousin Chad. He's got me saved, right? And if I did that, he'd be like, have you been drinking? What's wrong with you? You okay? Are you in jail? Why are you saying your name? And why are you talking to me formally? I'm going to call and I'm going to go, hey. He's going to go, hey, I need your help. Okay, what do you do now? I need you to promise me something. Well, what do you need me to promise? This is getting scary. I need you to this is so elementary, you guys. I need you to promise me that you will give me one person this year that needs to buy or sell a home. I've already told you when you got into that stupid real estate business that I was going to help you do this. Why are you calling me and asking me this? Well, because I need you to now tell me that you promise. Okay, weirdo, I promise. And all you say then is thank you. It's people like you that care about me that make me successful in the real estate business. Now let's break that call down because this doesn't it sound really elementary? I mean, this is not a hard program. When I say, hey, that's the salutation. Pretty simple. When I say I need your help, that puts a stopper to all the noise in their world. Because if you come to my house, I'm going to have a grandson trying to body slam me on my bed. He's 4. He tries. I'm going to have my wife going, we have to go. The dog is wanting to go outside or wanting to come in. Something's going on. And when somebody that I love calls me and says, I need your help, all the noise goes away. And I go, what do you need? That's the only reason you say it that way, is to stop the noise for them. I need your help. Okay, what do you need? I need you to promise me something. Okay, what do you need me to promise? I need you to promise me that you're going to give me one person this year that needs to buy or sell real estate. I'm not getting the promise. I'm not making them say I promise because it's going to make me feel good. And I feel like I got that checked off my to-do list. I've got Tiffany's my cousin. I got it. I got that. Yes, here we go. I'm trying to change her mindset. Because she did tell me, as my cousin, oh my goodness, you got into the real estate business. Right there, give me compound it out. I'm gonna give you somebody. I'm gonna give you somebody, Tiffany. I'm gonna find somebody who wants to buy or sell a house, okay? And then life happens to me. I walk away from her, and my grandson wants to body slam me. My wife's going, come on. The dog just pooped in the living room floor. I'm not thinking about Tiffany in the real estate business anymore. And I forgot. Not that I don't care, not that I don't want to help my cousin, but life is going on around me too. But when you promise something to somebody you love, does it not change your mindset? Like all of a sudden, yeah, I'm going to help you, Tiffany. I'm going to help you, Tiffany. And then it's like, I'm obligated to help Tiffany now. I'm obligated. That's the difference. In your email, you heard me say, and then so I get into the last part, thank you. When they say I promise, thank you, it's people like you that care about me, that make me successful in the real estate business. You know what that's called? That's called a wonderful attribute called gratitude and humbleness. Nobody is an island in this business. You cannot do it by yourself. If you think you can, you are sadly mistaken, and you will learn very quickly. So the gratitude portion is just say, Tiffany, thank you. It's people like you that care about me that help me be successful in the real estate business. That's all it is. And go back to that email that I'm telling you about. That's the last. It doesn't matter what the body of the email says. What matters is at the bottom of that. If you've given me your person this year already, thank you. If you haven't, I can't wait to hear from you, because it's people like you that care about me that make me successful in the real estate business. It's a reminder email. Nobody cares that you went to Disney World. Nobody cares that you sold 14 homes this month. People don't care about that. People don't care about your real estate business. They care about you as a person, what's going on in your world. And so that's what that email is. This is a once a quarter call. And I'm calling going, hey, John, how you doing, man? Oh, I'm good. How are you? I'm good. I just want to see. Everybody knows the Ford technique, right? If you don't, talk to him. He can tell you what the Ford technique is. You do your Ford technique. And you can, hey, the purpose of my call is I'm just calling through, touching base. And remember, you made me that promise. I wanted to just kind of follow up and see where we're at with that. It's real simple. And then the 50 face-to-face visits. And this is kind of a silly way I kind of explain it. But if by Thanksgiving, they haven't given you somebody, and like Tiffany's my cousin, and I see her at grandma's house for turkey, at one point, and I haven't talked to her all year about this, but now it's Thanksgiving. She's getting tight on time. So I'll catch her in the corner when grandma's not looking. I'll go, hey, listen, you still owe me somebody. And if you don't, take care of that. I'm coming to your house. I'm going to burn it down. So you have to buy something else. Now, that's how I did it. I am not trying to incite violence. I don't condone violence. Rob just said, get out. But somehow have a conversation and say, look, man, You still owe me somebody. We're getting late in the year. We're long in the tooth in the year. You better get me your person because I don't want to have to take you off my list. Did you hear that? I don't say that to them. But if Tiffany is my cousin and she doesn't give me somebody within that year, she's not on my 50 because she didn't do what she said she promised she was going to do. Next time she's got a flat tire, she better call Jimmy, the other cousin. I'm just kidding, Tiffany. We'd come. So that's this. That's your 50. Everybody clear on that? Everybody good on that? Okay. Now let's get into the 12. This is something that's very, very simple. This is not, anybody know what B&I is? This is not B&I. Anybody know what networking groups are all over Louisville? Probably. This is not that. This is a 12-person networking lunch group that is yours. And what I mean by that is it's 11 opportunities because you're one of the 12. And so let's say that Rob is in insurance. And I know Rob. I don't have to know Rob, but let's say I know Rob. I'm going to call Rob and say, hey, Rob, how you doing? I'm good, man. How are you? I'm doing great. How's business? Oh, business has been kind of busy, been slow, whatever. And I'm going to say, hey, listen, would you be interested in 11 new customers this year?
Yes, please.
What is every insurance person going to say? What's every real estate agent going to say? What's every lender going to say? What's every termite inspector? What's every dog groomer going to say? It doesn't matter. As long as they need customers, they're going to say, yes, of course I want 11 new customers this year. Well, here's what I'm doing. I am starting a lunch group. We're going to meet once a month for 1 hour, and we're going to build relationships with each other. And we're going to work together to make sure that we give each other a piece of business throughout the year. There's 2 requirements. I'm not making him promise. These are commitments now on the business side. I have 2 requirements to be part of my lunch group. By the way, you're in insurance. I've called you first before I call anybody else. I'm only going to have one person from every industry. I'm giving you this opportunity before I call somebody else. FOMO, right? So, Rob, here's my 2 requirements. You have to be able to make the majority of the lunches. We're going to do the 3rd Wednesday of every month from 12 to 1. Now, I did that strategically. I'm thinking the first week of the month, the last week of the month, out closings, all kinds of crazy stuff go on the first of the month, end of the month. I'm thinking, okay, the 3rd week of the month is pretty good. Wednesday is the actual absolute middle of the day when doctors take days off, right? So Wednesdays is the middle of the week. Noon to 1 is the middle of the day of the middle of the week of the middle of the month. When's the least busy hour of anybody's time? I may be right. I may be wrong. I always had good luck with it. So, Rob, you have to be able to make the majority of lunch. We're going to do the 3rd Wednesday of every month from 12 to 1. And the other thing is you have to commit to giving me one person this year that needs to buy or sell a piece of real estate. Now, I know as an insurance person that how many agents in this market? 4,500 probably, roughly 4,500. When I was in state leadership, it was like 33,000 or something. So it's grown like crazy. But here's what I would say to Rob. I know if you give me all of your business as an insurance agent, you're going to make 4,499 other realtors mad. I'm only asking for one piece of business. Only one. Just one. Is that something you'd be interested in? You know how many times I've gotten a no? One time. And you know who it's from? A travel agent. He said, Chad, I would love to be part of this, but 12 to 1 during the week is my busiest time because everybody's taking lunch breaks and they're calling me. I would love to do it, but I can't. I said, gotcha. Here was my group. I mean, we were a ragtag group of people, man. We had a lender. I had a lender, a car guy that sold cars. I had a family therapist. If I needed him, I could call a family therapist. I had a home inspector. I had a dog groomer, a guy that owned a commercial cleaning business, a guy that sold windows, a guy that sold and installed window blinds. So they don't have to be real estate related. They can be, but they don't have to be. And I'm telling you, 6 months ago, beginning of the year, I haven't done this for about the lunch group for 7 years. I'm not in production anymore, so I don't do the lunch group anymore. My car guy called me. He goes, hey man, how you doing? I said, I'm good. I said, I'm not looking for a car. He goes, that's not why I always call you. He's a friend of mine, so I was able to say that to him. But he said, hey, no, that's actually the opposite. I got somebody that needs to buy a house. 5, 6, 7 years later, they're still calling me. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And here's the thing. It's not like you have speakers come in and do your 12 to 1. You can meet at the same place. You can go to different places. We always kept the same place. I had a room, a restaurant that had a room. I went in and talked to the manager and I said, hey, let me ask you a question. I said, if I'm going to bring 12 people in here every single month on the third Wednesday of every month from 12 to 1, can I have that room from 11:30 to 1:30? And she was like, absolutely. Listen, it got to the point where when I would get there at 11:30, a few minutes early in case people showed up, I could kind of just schmooze. And then afterwards, if anybody wanted to talk for a minute, I'd keep it for 30 minutes so I could talk to them. And so what happened was I would go in there at 11:30. They already had menus set out. They had all the place sets. They had waters already on the table. They had one server dedicated to my room that hour every single month. I didn't ask for it. They just did it. Everybody buys their own lunch, by the way. This is not on you. You're buying your own lunch. They're buying their own lunch. You need to sit in the middle, like if this is the table, you sit in the middle of the table so you can hear all the conversations. And you can also introduce if you need to. There's no speaker. This is just people getting together that build relationships. There's no requirement of talking. There's no requirement, tell us what you do and tell us your elevator pitch and all that. There's none of that. It is literally just 12 people getting together. I ended up, everybody would bring 11 business cards with them towards the end. And at the end of one of the tables, they put all the 11 business cards, they just stack them. And so the goal was everybody, when they left, they grabbed everybody but their own card. And then the goal was by the time we get together next month, you've gotten rid of those cards. It's just a win-win for everybody. And we're into the Y4C2Ts, right? What's the W on the Y4C2Ts? Win-win or no deal. And it's a win all the way around, man. It is a win all the way around. Here's the beautiful part about this. It is low maintenance, low effort. This is not hard. And if Rob says no as the insurance person, I'll call John. I'll say, hey, John, how you doing? I'm good, man. How are you? I'm doing great. Listen, I'm just starting this lunch group. I typically wouldn't say networking because they're going to think B&I and I got to pay dues and all this kind of stuff. I'm doing this lunch group. And I know you're in insurance and I'm only doing one person per industry. And I wanted to call you first before I call anybody else. Now, am I lying? Because I've already called him. No, I'm calling him first before I call somebody else, just like I was calling him first before I call somebody else. And I say, I'm only going to have one person per industry, and I'm just letting you get in on this before I call the next person. Are you interested? Listen, you guys. I say you guys, well, I can say you guys up here. I'm further north. I mean this. If you do this, where's my number? I forgot which one you gave me now, Rob. That sounded like I was stepping on a cat. If you do this, and so all I have to do when I do that, and I tell you what I just did, I just grab the mic. That's it. I'm going to ask this question. I don't want you to answer. Who in this room, hopefully all of you, who in this room is making $300,000 net? Not net, because there's taxes and all that, but adjusted gross commission income after cap. Who's making $300,000 right now? And if you are, so happy for you. You want 300 more? And if you aren't making 300,000 right now, you want it? Because I'm serious when I tell you, this is not out of a book. I'm not saying the MREA is not, I'm not even talking about the MREA. I didn't learn this from Grant Cardone. I didn't learn this from Tony Robbins. This was my business, part of my business plan when I was in production. And let me tell you something, this is half good. This is only if you're half good at it. You want to know the beautiful thing for me? I was better than half good every single year I did it. What's important to you in your world? I know we talked about a new house, talked about different things. What do you want in your world? Let me tell you in my world why it matters to me. So I'm going on my 30th year of real estate. In 1996, I started real estate class. I was a poor cop from Illinois that just moved to Kentucky, Southern Kentucky. I thought I was moving to my teeth. And it's not like that it is on TV. There's really great people there. My kids were born there now, so I know that that was a bunch of crap. But here's the thing. I called my mom and dad. They were still living in Illinois. I said, I think I want to get into real estate. You know what my mom and dad said? We love it. What can we do? So I didn't have money. I had no money. So my mom and dad paid for my pre-license class, which was $700 at the time, and it was live. No online stuff and K-score. And so they paid for my real estate pre-license school. They paid for my exam. They paid for my realtor association dues. They paid for my business cards, and they bought me one of those really cool 1990 boxy squared off looking briefcases. And I thought I'd made it already, and I hadn't even been in the office yet. And they never let me pay them back. Now, 29 years later, last year, we lost my mom. It'll be 5 years in about 15 days. My mom and dad were 2 weeks shy of 60 years being married. My dad has never been the same. A year ago, just this past July 4th, I went over to his house to see him. He was coming over every day, then he stopped coming over. I called him and talked to him. I finally went over to his house. I sat in his house, had a cup of coffee, and I knew something wasn't right. Something just was not right. My dad is a veteran, and so we took him to the VA hospital in Nashville. We did a stint there. Then we went to a Murfreesboro VA hospital, back to the Nashville hospital, put him in assisted living. He thrived there for a very short time, and then he was back to the hospital. Then he went to a rehab hospital, back to the hospital, and since then he's been in a nursing home. 84 years old. There are days that my dad thinks I'm his dad. Now, let me tell you about my dad. My dad is the dad that was the only car behind a school bus driving to Minnesota for a basketball tournament in a snowstorm because he wasn't going to miss a game from his kid. So now, sometimes he knows who I am. Sometimes he doesn't know who I am. And that nursing home is $9,600 a month. He's not on Medicare. He's private pay. And because of real estate and because of this program, every first day of the month, my wife hands me the checkbook. It's the only time I get it. She hands me the checkbook, and I write a check for $9,600 out of my personal account. And it is the greatest joy that I have every single month. He doesn't even know I'm doing it. He thinks he's staying there for free. So when I tell you, and I'm passionate about real estate, and I'm passionate about this program, that's what this has done for me. And that $9,600 isn't a blip on my radar. It does not put me wanting anything that I don't have. And I'm telling you that not to go, oh my goodness, look at him. He's paying for his dad's nursing home. I'm not saying that. I'm telling you that because the things that are important in your life, this can fuel it. This can pay for it. And I'm going to tell you something that nobody else will probably tell you the way I'm going to say it. Whoever said money doesn't buy happiness didn't have any darn money. And it's not about the money. We have a saying here, don't we? It's not about the money. It's what good the money can do within our culture at Keller Williams. And when I say that whoever said money doesn't buy happiness didn't have any darn money, it's not because of the money. It's because the money provides things for you to be able to do that make you happy. I receive no gain from writing a $9,600 check every single month, but it's honestly the biggest joy of my month every single first day of the month. If but for real estate, I wouldn't be able to write that check. No way, no chance, no chance. And I'm the least likely to succeed in the real estate business. 30 years ago, somebody goes, I think I'm going to get in real estate. They go, you? You got a terrible attitude. I mean, I went from kicking doors to knocking on them and letting people in. My attitude was way different than it is now. Somehow, I learned how to do this. I'm telling you, the money matters because I'm not even saying it's for you. I'm saying, what if you wanted to donate $25,000 cash to your favorite church or charity, not tell anybody where it came from? You keep that blessing for yourself. I would venture to say, because we all do, we all have family members that could have help. Every single one of us. And I'm not saying going and frivolously spending money on them, but I'm saying just go pay their electric bill. Go help them get their car fixed so they aren't walking to work. We all have people in our world like that, do we not? You realize that this real estate thing is bigger than you. It's bigger than you. If you do this the right way, you're able to help in ways that you never dreamed, let alone your family and friends dreamed of. You're able to help in ways you never. 10 years ago, I'd have never told you that I'd be spending $9,600 a month putting my dad in a nursing home. And what I'm able to do, it's not even about, you know what the joy is? It's not really about writing the check. It's that I'm able to, but the joy is my dad can still live in dignity and respect for whatever time he's got left. He's in hospice right now. We don't know if we've got 2 days or 2 years with him. And I've told him numerous times that he doesn't understand, but I'm like, Dad, I just got to tell you, you're like a cat, man. You got 9 lives. You only got about 6 left. I mean, I've been in Florida and my sister FaceTimes me. She's like, you better FaceTime Dad. I don't think he's going to make it today. And he's sprawled out on the bed and can't breathe and can't do this, can't do that. A day later, I come home, he's sitting in the wheelchair and goes, how was your trip? I'm like, who are you? So what I'm getting at is this. It's not just about you. It's so not just about you. It is. I want you to love yourself first. That's the most important part of this day. I want you to make money. I want you to make a ton of money. But I want you to love you first so you can perform to that maximum potential for other people. But when you're performing to a maximum potential in real estate and making this kind of money, it frees up things that you've never dreamed of. And I may be preaching to the choir. You all may be $40 million producers. You don't need this money. But what I'm telling you is this frees you up to do things to change your life, which changes other people's lives. And all of a sudden, I'm at the age now where I'm thinking about legacy. About legacy. Not just financial legacy. I got 5 kids, 3 grandkids. I'm working now. I retired once. I retired in 2021 at Coldwell Banker. I decided I wasn't going to be in management anymore. I was going to go back and forth to Florida. My wife and I were just going to travel back and forth and just kind of hang out. We have a team. They were going to run. The team was going to run, sell property. We were just going to chill. I was done. I was over it. I was over people. And then I came to Keller Williams and my life changed yet again. I've had a lot of rebirths as a phoenix coming out of the ashes. And now I stand here in less than 3 years as your regional director of the Ohio Valley region. They don't know what they did yet. But seriously, my wife said this to me. My wife's name is Keena. I'm going to quit calling her my wife. Keena, she deserves that respect. My wife's name is Keena. She looked at me the other day and she said, 3 years ago, we never even dreamed of Keller Williams, and now look where you're at. And you know what, you guys? It's not about this title for me. I could care less about the title. I'm old enough. I don't care about titles anymore. I've been able to, I had 200, I grew a Coldwell Banker office from 17 agents to 230. We had 1 location. We ended up having 8 locations before I retired, and we were the number 31 Coldwell Banker in the country. And it wasn't because of me. I was the right person getting the right people on the bus. Right through the door, and I was able to train them and teach them and love on them to where they became successful. It wasn't me. Then I went over to the Keller Williams office. Never thought I'd say that. I mean, I'm like, I'm not wearing a red shirt. I don't even want to drink out of a red Solo cup. Ho ho, whatever. And God has a wonderful sense of humor. He's like, oh yeah, you are. And so I end up at Keller Williams. I was still going to just chill. And God nudged me again and said, you're going to be the team leader of that company. I'm like, no, I'm not. And yet that's where I sat for a year and a half. And I sat in that role in a year and a half. We had 230 agents. I grew it to 300 and thriving business down there. And then God had another plot twist. And I raised my hand, didn't even know there was a job available. And I raised my hand to the region. And this happened for me. And let me tell you why I'm telling you this. I am blessed. I am blessed beyond what I deserve and what beyond measure. Because I was able to pour into 17 agents when I started this in 1997. May 16th, 1997. For 27 years, I grew it to 230, and I was able to watch people change their lives by the vehicle of real estate. And then I go to Keller Williams, and all of a sudden, and I was speaking all over the country for Coldwell Banker. I did national conventions. I did all this kind of stuff. I had a footprint of a whole lot of people, and it wasn't because I cared about me. I'm telling you, I wanted to serve people. That's how I've grown up. I watched my dad serve people. My mom serve people. And so then I go to Keller Williams, and all of a sudden, I got 180,000 more people. And so I had 300 in Bowling Green, and now I have 4,500. Because God is blessing me in the way to be able, if it wasn't for this job, I probably wouldn't be standing here with you today. Unless Rob invited me, and I'd have made him do it at some point. What I'm telling you is this. Real estate is the thing for you to live a massively big life that you've never dreamed of. When I was 23, 24 years old, and I was part of a major case squad, man, we were kicking doors in, we were doing drug interdiction, all kinds of crazy stuff. I was 22 years old, and I was 10 feet tall and bulletproof. That's what I was going to do for the rest of my life. And God said, no, you're not. No, you're not. You're going to do real estate. I'm like, no, I'm not. And I've done real estate for 30 years. Huh? And I'm going to do it in Kentucky where they don't have teeth, I thought. So, but here's what I want to leave you with. The beautiful thing is this. When I talk about leaving a legacy, it's a monetary financial legacy. I've got grandkids. I want to leave a financial legacy for my great grandkids I haven't even met yet that I hope I get to someday before I go to heaven. But it's more than money. And so I'm going to leave you with this quick thing. About 8 years ago, 9 years ago, I guess, about 8 years ago, I started journaling. And it's not like I sat there and started writing a bunch of stuff. I don't want to do that. But I get up every single morning. I'm a 4 a.m. guy. I'm at the gym by 4:30, really pushing myself to things that I don't want to do. I love being in an uncomfortable state. I have a t-shirt that I can't wear anymore because I have to wear a collared shirt now at the region. But it says, be comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's where you need to move your world. If you're not challenging yourself and feeling uncomfortable every single day, you're not doing enough. I'm just going to tell you. So every morning when I get up, I grab my coffee. I sit there for 10 minutes before I go to the gym. And I have these binders. They're like pretty little leather binders I get at Barnes & Noble. They've gone from $18 to $29, whatever they are now. You can use a composition book for 99 cents at Walmart. It doesn't matter what it's in. There it is. And every morning, I write 5 things I'm grateful for. Now listen, it doesn't have to be philosophical. There's been days that I'm like, I'm grateful for this cup of coffee. I'm grateful for this fireplace because I live with a vampire. She likes it so cold in the house, I sometimes go to bed with a hoodie on, with the hood up. I'm like, I don't understand you, why you want it so cold. And she's like, well, you're just going to have to put something else on. And I do. So, but every single day, I name my kids. And it's not just Austin, Matthew, Dalton, Luke, or Dalton, Gabe, and I named the grandkid. Gabe and Jamie, but it's Austin because he just got a new job. I'm so proud of him. It's Gabe because he took all by himself, went to Tacoma, Washington with his girlfriend, and they knew nobody. The courage that it took every single day for the last 8 years. I'm past the first book. I've had to buy numerous books. And here's the legacy. I want to create that financial legacy for my family, but I also want to create a legacy of love. So that box is in the attic. There's a box full of these journals in the attic. And when I go to heaven, hopefully a long time, but when I go to heaven, Keena is going to look at the kids and she's going to say, hey, why don't you guys go to the attic? And my kids and my grandkids are going to pull this box out and they're going to go through my gratitude journals for the last however many years God lets me stay. If I go today, it'll be 8 years worth of them understanding my love for them. You want to talk about legacy? That's legacy. That is legacy. It's not just financial. It's love. And as you work with buyers and sellers, lead with love. As you work with each other as colleagues, lead with love. That's where it starts. I mean, what's the first new bold law? Anybody know? Love is always the answer. That's the first bold law now. Love is always the answer. We can solve a whole lot of problems if we started with love. Thank you all for letting me come into your home today. I appreciate you. I'm so excited for your future. Rob is amazing. Tara is amazing. I'm glad you guys are here. Glad you're part of this family. And if there's anything I can do, call Rob. I'm just kidding when I say that. But thank you all very much. Thank you for spending your time. Thank you. Thank you. Your time is valuable and very important, so I appreciate you being here. That's a commitment that you don't get back. So hopefully you walk out of here feeling like you got something from it. And listen, do this 12 and 50, because the next time I see you, I'm going to go, Tiffany, you doing that 12 and 50? Tanya, you doing that 12? I'm going to ask you if you're doing that 12 and 50, and you can't lie. So thank you all so much. Thank you. Thank you. He shut me down.